Okay, cool. We switched it over to the games. Checking. All right, cool. Great Ace Attorney. Gonna do that because it is a little bit before midnight. I might be able to get like some progress in depending on how long this investigation is gonna go. Usually the investigations take a while, but hopefully it's not gonna take too long. I'm gonna get started anyway.
You want me to like to check to see if this chapter would be a long one or something?
No, you don't need to. Because this game is taking a little bit and I'm trying to plan out like long-ish times, I have a guide that I don't actually fully go into detail on. I just look how long the page is and then see how long it is. Because if it's like a short one, I know that's going to be like an hour or two. If it's like a decently length, that's like 3 to 4 hours. And I'm just like, this one's going to take a little bit.
Okay. So this upcoming one?
Yeah, this next one's gonna be. Luckily, as Justin told me, case 3 was abnormally long, and that was the longest dragging one. That's the thing I hate about case 3 is that it dragged on too long. I don't even remember the whole resolution at the end. It was like I stayed up to 5. So the fact that it happened that late, I don't remember exactly the whole resolution. I know that the reveal, I know that stuff. I just don't remember the ending of the specific case. What was the whole shock, blah, blah, blah. I think it's like because she is blackmailed or whatever. I don't know. Either way, yeah, we're going to go into case 4 and hopefully this doesn't take as long. And the Great Ace Attorney is like, set pieces are nice, characters are nice, but my god, it drags.
Who's all in here anyways?
Will, James, Kyle.
Okay.
It was indeed a bizarre incident, Burn. Curious advertisement and the I couldn't read that whole thing.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said.
Oh, look at all the redheads.
A most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every
I'm
case.
gonna use the restroom and probably head off.
Have a good night, Will. Thanks for playing games.
I'm starting.
And it is
Yeah, I think I'll leave you.
Alright, take it.
compels me to
Trying to get a
pursue
little
Good night.
warm. I'm gonna need to cool down some.
So quickly now.
Take it easy. Have a good night, you two.
On our way,
Yep.
my dear.
Good night.
That golf is stupid, man.
For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Something happened?
Oh, the Will and Kyle left.
I'm probably also going to, but I'll be lurking in the background.
Sounds good. Thanks for lurking.
Yep.
All right. 8 days after the earth-shattering trial and Kazuma regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Oh, fancy. November 1st. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Sato-san hasn't been the same since that happened. Not that I'm surprised. Truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer? The professor, you mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, They did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. To think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Oh, Father? Well, Susato, how are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. You guys look so different. You don't look so fat anymore, and the judge doesn't have a funny hat. Now he just has a funny beard. It looks funny. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure. I've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London. You know, the news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel like as though I've seen him before? I take it your expression can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seshiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty! Why does he have a gavel with him at all times? Ah. Oh! You're... The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I don't even know what voice I gave him. It was baffling months ago. I would say years, but baffling. Your Excellency! Hello, Judge Joku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good. You're remembered now. That really did the trick. Guilty! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Or to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I've never thought I'd be back. Me neither did I. I did imagine Japan would ever be inviting to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt any did. To be honest, it's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seshiro? What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course, Judge Jujoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who, 16 years ago, came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border did took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes. Didn't you know Seshiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs? It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on his study tour. Guilty as charged. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Yeah, yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? Appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About that what happened 10 years ago, that tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? Look at my armband! I was gonna go first. So how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time for by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wonder if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris. We did. Though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Hey, Dunkirk! I watched that movie. It was a fine movie, but it's not my favorite World War II movie. No, it's not my favorite World War movie. Future World War II. Yeah, no, it's World War II. Thinking of 1917. That movie is cinematography. It was really, really good. Just in time for the symposium. In fact, it starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Sashiro here that 16 years ago he managed to ingratiate himself into Britain's Attorney General. Why did they have to use big words again? I'm gonna keep complaining about big words. I'm sure that's why he's invited. And I suppose you could say I'm something of a appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You are close friends with a professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asoji. Genshin Impact! We need some waifus! He's the original waifu maker. That sounded better in my head. Genshin. You knew, I presume, Father? Yes. He was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Oh? Why? As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain, study there. I'm just giving everyone this relatively same voice because I don't remember everything. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know, but when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I would be able to stop him. I mean, there are ways, just tie him down to a chair. Or knock him out via a post on the bed frame. Something else came to light in the trial the other day, actually. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year. Cosima has since turned up here in London, working as an apprentice of Lord Von Zieg's. What? What? That's news to us? So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. As you know, we both thought Cosima had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. He didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive? And here in London, you say? I never dared to even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't even know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Cosima's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? Gonna go through these dialogues one by one. That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yujin here, Genshin Asoji, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars of Japan to travel overseas to study. Once voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. And he wasn't there for your birth. He went to do research at Great London Hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Ugh, not more talk of graves. Very often there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy report work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prisoner governor? Do you remember the 21st of September? I don't know the whole lyrics. That was a bad attempt. Caden was his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course, in our 6th year, everything changed with that dreadful case. And Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after the trial we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for a porter then. Just wait here. Susato-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. I wish you the best of luck, Nake said. Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh, no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Yeah, you didn't show up at her birth, you stupid head. What kind of father are you? Not showing up at your daughter's one and only birth. You can't unbirth and rebirth her. That sounds wrong. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became a rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. If it's asking your daughter in hand in marriage, I am too young to decide that. Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took too long. Who the... Oh, wait, I recognize you. Mr. Sato. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Oh, of course, sir. I'm drinking alcohol. That machine around your neck, it's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings and for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think, given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Oh, yes, of course. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruto. It's really made Father happy. Very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to the Baker Street, then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. It's gonna be a problem when you ruined, like, one of your greatest, forensic teen scientists and everything. The 1st of November. Does not go well with like the 21st of September. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Von Zeke's doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. You really don't need any more tension. My apologies, I didn't notice you. Come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Oh no! Oh no! It's entirely my fault for wearing black. I'm sure. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Perhaps as of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly? As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madame. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Von Zeeks. I will attend at once. He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still in service? Still of service? Mr. Naruhodo is talking about Dr. Seath. Ah! Of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Seath's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Von Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort, though disturbingly his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh? Missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? Not long ago, visitor numbers of the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. That's a lot of people, especially at this day and age. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Actually, I'm kind of curious about that. I don't think there were a billion people at all until like well, no, that would make sense for a billion around this time because it was like 7 million about 10 years ago. No, not 7 million, 7 billion 10 years ago. So I don't think the baby boomer age happened and that increased it by probably a lot. Yeah, probably like a couple to a few billion by now. So yeah, 30 million. As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of Imperial Capital Tokyo is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparation and negotiation with other countries. Hey, 2 years is also the length of the time skip for One Piece. It's a fantastic story. You guys should totally watch. I'm advertising. One Piece, please sponsor me so I can get free mangas. It sounds like a tremendous... Ah! That's for Yonosuke! Wrong person. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of the forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential, which is why this landmark's first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire. Burping. In order that Scotland Yard, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the world. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruto. She can read my mind. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensics investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Seath at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. About Lord Van Zeek's apprentice. Ah, yes. That came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeek's in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by the border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my, so he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly Eastern descent, there was no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord von Zieks. That way, I could keep an eye on him. Then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord von Zieks with the tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be great help to Lord von Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, Jensen Asoji. What we learned from the trial 8 days ago was a huge shock, finding out my friend's father was... Ah yes, Genshin Asoji. Genshin! The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. They were such awful murders. And unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? Murder is murder. It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. To the Shom Suite. How do I say that? Is that French? Wee! Wee! What was that? A man screaming? In the most unflattering way. Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. Wee! I don't do it anymore. Mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, oh? Eh? Huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. Oh, that was the intro. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now. Ah. Right, you two, you're coming with me now. Down to the Clint. No, not in prison. It is dark and damp and I don't like it. Oh, the darkness. It is my friend. I am not scared. I don't even know how to say that. Scream. Or cry. But you are always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. Don't I like this? I don't like it. We're tough. We'll finish this down at the yard. Now get moving. Why are you smiling now? Bottom, Jenny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks. You're a great detective. Sheena makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Who's your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see your daddy again soon. See, I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Ah, yes, of course. It's Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is greatest of problems known to man. Is that what the frick happened to your hair? But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea? Whatever is going on here today? In that case, let us sit down and drink. Sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood makes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. I think I shouldn't have drinking that energy drink. I think my heart is racing at 50 miles per hour. I only drank it because I don't want to get sleepified during the stream. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our the young detective ally. You should have asked Grexy to come too. We could have had an arrest tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it. A bungler. That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those are the redheads that... So those redheads had been up to no good? I wonder what the men did. What was that about the greatest problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another friendly... Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. Possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that is newly proposed 40 years ago now. So nearly 40 years. We can pinpoint it. Natural selection theory. First... I'm gonna say when. When was it? It was like 18 something? Then co-published it by 1858. So it was nearly 40 years. So it So this game is at the cusp of 1900s. So let's just say like 38. That would make it this 1896. So yeah, they're at the cusp of 40 years. So it's like 1890 to 1900. That's basically it. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans. It has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent. Ah. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from the Madam Tussbears only the other day? Pshaw. Pshaw. A large sum? One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later. And all of it was quite disappeared, I assure you. All of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Harry, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to the man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue. Before your very eyes. Don't tell me, let me see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end? It's been stabbing in both my eyes. Right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruto. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us, I will now tell you something of the first importance of my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That case aboard the SS Beria in January. Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do you do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh? I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. Mask Wars. Ah, Sato's angry. Don't think there's anything in there for me to do, so I'll go to here. Could prevent rise safely, isn't it? It's wonderful. The fact is, fighter of a national event makes me very proud to be his daughter. Father of Jochuku, that's Kazuma's, of course. There's a number of Japanese here. I'm reading this fast because I'm not sure if this is necessary. Commander. Oh, it's starting to swell again now. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I am, since I co-versed everything, that means I need to present or find something. Looks like last week's edition. What's the article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement called, it says, the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but there's something on my face. Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. Oh. If you're a redhead, looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruto. Sorry. In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation! Believe me, I could have seen that red hair with my eyes shut. So then allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? So, what is this Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you circled? You noticed it in the paper then. that my dear fellow was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. Was how? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads received once they joined. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week, that's a lot. But why? Why are they paying people? What are they paying people for? I don't know. So no details were given in the advertisement. Surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance. That might be stretching a point, I think. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Wasn't particularly lucky for a redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So he decided to try joining his place. Correct, I mean. Look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruto. Though it pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry, which is technically dyeing. Chemistry? I was conducting some research in a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that when taken turns one's hair a flame like red, like flaming hot Cheetos. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I pass. But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have doubted you. Mr. Sholmes, you mean to say? But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Birdie left full confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street, where Red-Headed League was interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a coaster's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours, 8 hours solid, before at last I reached the front. When the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police. Oh dear, what a disaster for Hurley and those two redheads. Ding-a-ling-ling. Aha! Here is my guest now. My latest client, with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley. Remember, Iris, we are at a present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can't lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. The whack. I know you. You're the pretty lady that actually was easy to convince. She birdie. Oh, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Haddock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband. He's run away. He says set the for a runway. To upset me? I beg your pardon? Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruto? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madame, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please. Of course. What's the matter, Miss Susato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before, very recently. Yes, now that you mentioned it. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Virgil. I implore you to task the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madame. Being offered a case to solve is rewarding enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer. However, for contingent regions, I trust you will remember your word also. If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me. What I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand? Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me. Ugh, that's a tongue twister. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Virgil. I was gonna say Virgil. But have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! Pshaw! Every time they say pshaw, I'm just imagining that Persona 4 video of like pshaw. Like what was it? The comic that makes fun of Persona 4 comic strip. I forget what it was. Justin, remind me. Or future Justin, remind me, or whatever. Pshaw. Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah! I knew I recognized her. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. She was nice. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. She's not that different to me. Must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. pardon. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry, you can't hear. It was fippery. Really, nothing more. Fippery. Now that I look at... Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell us about your husband, madame. Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. My God, he's handsome. An entirely unremarkable gentleman by appearance, at least. How long have you been married? I will be fit. Yeah, I will be 15 this year. Jesus, that's a minor. It will be 15 years this year. So they got married in like 25. When she's 25, or when he was 25. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh. Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated, like an anime. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. If he's incurred some indiscreet ill will. What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So your husband's a prison warder. Warder. That's right, yes. Well, in fact, he's the chief warder. Indeed? I see. Well, chief prison warder, it certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. I'm giving you a southern accent. My poor husband must prepare for those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Dreadful punishments? Does he mean capital punishments? And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other wardens. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Low Gate Cemetery. No. Low Gate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court. It's unbelievable. So he must be the warder that was paid by Madame Tuspels. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, yet undeniable.
I'm gonna head to bed.
It's alright. Good night, James. Take it easy.
You too.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me. I hope I can get through this section. I'm probably, even if this section was short, because I've been getting consistent sleep schedule, I might just call it after this section. Because I already calculated I'm not going to be able to beat this game by the end of this year. I was hoping so. But I should be able to beat it by January. End of January. Supposedly, if I can get finished this case by the end of this year, I should be able to finish in January. If not, then it has to be pushed to February. But still. Let's find it. Pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. Again, I am already getting a little lightheaded right now, but I'm gonna push through because I don't like interrupting this kind of cases. This can't be a coincidence, can it? I'm okay, by the way, guys, if you ever are worried. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It's yesterday. I'm sorry, yesterday? That really is recent, laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away from before his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him to not return home at night, but this is different. For him to not make any contact for a whole day has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever can have happened? At least she's a loyal wife. Yeah. My Discord doing alright? Okay. I don't know what was going on. My dear Mrs. Vigil. I was gonna say Miss, because it sounds like a divorce or she's a widow. She's a beautiful lady, but clearly she doesn't have a job. So, beautiful lady, good. Stable job, nothing. And all the guys would be like, I can fix her. Or, I'll still take over, I have a 6-figure salary. Soon to be 7. I mean, she is probably, if she keeps that image and she stays as that actual personality, she's a keeper, and a lot of people nowadays would take her. My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted police? Naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for a day. And I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. You have not tender gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put the suit's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madame. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with our Harding report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave a photograph of your husband in my possession. Photograph of your Mr. Vigil has been entered to the court record. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door. I'm going to kick you down the stairs. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think it every time, Hurley. How do you come with such nonsense? good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave a good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Locate Cemetery.
Locate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison, so it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of the condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruto. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's a prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you supposed to be going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? It was quite a different matter. So I'll leave it in your capable hands. Now if you excuse me, I'm rather busy. Making him do all the work and you get the reward. Of course you are. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing with a lonely burial ground. Its 4 outer walls looming quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Holy crap, he's big and he has a scar back. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can remember the last time a Trevilian was down here. And you deny want to talk to an inmate but to me? What is that What is that language? Oh my god, he's a Chad. Do you ken who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Oh yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defensive lawyer. An Easterner, I see. Does that mean? Yes, I'm a visiting student of the law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be so direct, but I've no intention to speaking with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterners. Now get out of my hair. So as soon as he finds out we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Gensen Asoji, also known as the professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I've known. You're sniffing around that case, aren't you? You're agents, eh? Part of the professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We just... Get going with you before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. I'm not going to get anywhere here. Unless we have somehow to prove this man that we're not... There's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Kaden. What are you thinking, Miss Susato? I'm sure the name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. I don't remember. I was not paying attention. I was barely paying attention. What the heck? He's such a Chad. I was curious. That's Professor Mikotoba over there. Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taking himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived to the country today, goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you've known the prison governor of Barclay Prison? Oh, Governor Kaden, you mean? So it is the same man. Yeah, I was not paying attention that he knew Governor Kaden. I was just going through the dialogue. Father, you must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee and on a comfortable settee. Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that out loud, did I? No, they can all just read minds. You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? Marry me and you'll be a Naruhodo. Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. Well, even busy pretty people like to relax. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. Good luck then. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Kaden. What's this then? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes, you good for nothing Japanese student. Mikatoba. That young jock from forensics laboratory, that Mikatoba? Is it Jock? Yes, exactly him. I don't even know what good voice I can give him because I don't want to sound like the same as everything. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikatoba's daughter, Susato. Jinx! You're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think to mention that before? I do apologize. Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? Oh, didn't forget to try one of these wee undercuff biscuits. He's so big. He's like Shaq size. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. September 11th. I did look at that. Yeah. I'm just making sure I got these right. Okay. So the ticket was... I guess guns. I just noticed that. So then, what can I do for you, hen? What can I do for you, hen? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. I haven't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. What? But how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder. What? Eh? Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind to tell us what you know, sir? Aye, of course. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility, dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder. You could say warder instead of warder. Sorry, did you say was? Aye, he does nae work. No, he does nae work here no more. He left the job. Oh my. When was this exactly? Oh, that there's a question. When was it to boot? It kinda have been much less than 10 years ago now. Misa have some questions. And Misa is so confused. What? 10 years ago? You stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, as I minded, do you reckon? I haven't heard the fellow's name in all that time. It's a worry he's gone missing, though. But Mrs. Vigil had no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruto, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? I can't help but wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So, Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warden 10 years ago. You're telling us? Order happened to make him leave the job. In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. So it's like, he didn't leave the job willingly. So he didn't. It's like, he didn't leave the job willingly. I don't know how you say that in that accent. I had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Aye, that's our word for it in here. A walk to the gallows. An execution? It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. What did he do? I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal the information. But I can tell you that it's very rare, very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post. Why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't ken anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal? And what would that be, hun? The last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am, but I'm no at liberty to answer that. I see. Also, what the heck is that grandfather caught with a guillotine? That is so interesting they did that, and it's also dangerous. Lose a finger there. Seriously, you can really lose a finger in that kind of guillotine's clock. They don't give it out to commoners with children. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. You seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpse for the forensic research, do ya, Ken? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. My father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. in the basement of Saint Sinners. It's still in use today. Saint Sinners. Unless it's called Signers, it's an interesting way to say lab or whatever. Saint Sinners. That's come up before, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to a lot of these places. This is the first I heard of it. What the heck is going on? This probably was mentioned during Dr. Seath's, like, confrontation and whatnot. Yes, that's right. We've been there. The Katoba and oft used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection, and all sorts. Oh, shit, takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Soji, I suppose. Well, I cannot tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment before you're away, hein? He has a frickin' axe on his side. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original mind. Vigil's dismissal notice has been added. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. And unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be the last. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes and what we found about Mr. Vigil. I keep calling him Virgil. Will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Strongheart's still waiting in front of his, like, whole sanctum. We're back! Hello, you two.
Oh, hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us. Oh, so that's what the...
I'm blue daboo dee daboo die. So that's what the delicious smell is. Greetings, my dear fellows. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Pray, tell me, what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information? His eyebrows have changed too. Oh, yes, there's something very surprising in fact, though it's not a patch on your hair to be honest. I never noticed his eyebrows change in red, so blue is more noticeable to me. See, surprisingly, that red is one of the most noticeable colors too. It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that Shams! Drop everything, Shams! This is more important! Gina? I can't Adam and Eve it. What happened? What's happened? Clearly a grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? The boss is... He's dead. What? Oh, that's getting chill in my spine. They just found his body shot with a pistol. What? But... Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No, not Grexy. Come in, my dear girl. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was really shot? I can't get my infinite fish and chips anymore. I'm so sad now. That's all I cared about from him. He was no other character. I didn't care what else. Yeah. Okay, I'm just kidding. Making lighthearted jokes. I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room in the building full of flats on Fresno Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss was... He was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Jeannie. So who did this? Do we have any idea who the culprit is? They got him already. Already? They've caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported something that was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. Gina? It was the Reaper. Wait a minute! You don't mean they arrested Lord Von Zeeks for it? That's right. The Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss. No, Lord Von Zeeks? Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Baroque Von Zeeks the police have arrested? I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot apparently, and when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and the Reaper bloke in the room. But there's no way Lord Von Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. Don't believe it either. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, taking the cab over to the scene now. Please come in all as soon as you can. You've got to help. Yeah, too bad. Gregson couldn't meet it to the end of the game. Oh my god. Itchy. It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we got all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes, what use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson! Mr. Naruto, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could come, if we talk to Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later then. Inspector Gregson's dead. Lord Van Zeek's arrested. Bruno, Susie, I've called your ransom. It's been waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sato? Yes. Wrong place. This really is out of the way, part of London. I doubt many people found his way back the street. So this is the dust-ridden, oriented room. What happened then? This is where poet Mr. Spectre Grayson lost his life. Police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. Don't see Mr. Trump anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations taking him elsewhere. Oi! What do you think you're doing here? Every one of them drawers have to be taken out so that you can look underneath them all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and I don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't your lot ever gone over a house looking for a door when the owners are out of town? Yeah, I'm losing the accent. Genius obviously got some unique investigative techniques just she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you returned up at last, mind you. I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes was only just left. You're lucky you missed that. You went prancing around here and there, pointing at stuff and flicking that at Ove is then just scampered. Oh my god, Scarper. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah. It didn't stop at nothing to do no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigate too? Listen, Odo. You're a lawyer, right? Yes? Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Rico bloke, are ya? Oh, poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zinks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Odo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Alright. Wrong place. Got too early. Going a little out of sequence, but we're going back. Later. There he is. Lord Von Zeek's behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall reading something I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Von Zeeks. Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see. Couldn't very well not come. Well, we heard what happened, that Inspector Grayson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Von Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Grayson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We are indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? The Yard isn't quite as cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh? Who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Von Zieks never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Von Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed, and there is really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting people I work alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had the chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Oh? After all, you're not representing me. He's going to need a lawyer, though. I mean, he knows the law, so I think he can technically defend himself. Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Von Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as of yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions we be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's death, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. This letter, it's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now. He is. I'm doing something really quick because I can. So it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence. That's all. Well, in any event, you'll excuse me now. I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Von Zieks. If you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a gracious offer, however. I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. Please. I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit me again. Neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. And when you're there to go, you need to dig a little deeper. And find out more about Lord Von Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Okay, now we go properly to the Fresno room. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's a year since I got out of the clink. That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted Inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. Turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case and just like that. Did? Yep, and ever since then, it started going out on all sorts of investigations, always on its own. No one else at the yard even knows half the cases he's working on, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know I had a lot of respect to the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper in what way? I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to the fella. War is worse. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that exactly why he respected the bloke. And I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. It said something else to me and all. That I didn't really need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people who are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when it said that. Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's been rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone? It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person, and haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from the appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All the lads in the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Dr. Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even ever considered that. That's what Suze. We are actually following the line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you see there's a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. I see, that's where the Spore Inspector was found. There. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown out one of the candles completely. And the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's in it. No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big old eyes. I've only said what I've heard. I don't know much about these guns myself. But there's some big wig lawman or whatever who said so. What? Don't you ask him? Big wig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there are some street sellers just outside who are at the gun tot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here. After all, they're getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads at the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Okay, so I'm gonna face it. Is it? Naruhodo ne. Why do I feel like this room is familiar somehow? Man, Ryunosuke really has bad memory. Okay. Private stuff, yeah. Like why I'd say that it's Gregson and he doesn't say, they don't say anything about the whole thing. Yeah, some candle. Somebody you could say, oh. That's funny. We just took the whole piece off. Got it. Just all lost. Oh, keep whacking my microphone for this. Oh, it's a little doll. How charming. Yeah, I had like the same thing. Yep. Okay, so there's nothing else to really do it for there. It looks like a gun coming out of it. Okay. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds like as though he's talking to someone. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train, so I could check all the paperwork. It's Kazuma-sama. Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. But Lord Von Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Von Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? As the Soji here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution. Wait, what? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? I'm sure you can imagine tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. People all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. They have TVs now? And, yeah, they don't have radios by now, I don't think. There's no salvation for anyone in the trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey, and now the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Von Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there's been thorough investigation that have proven to him to be innocent. That's certainly true, but it has been at least until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Blech. Also, I like how the birds keep coming at the right time. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart? Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You? You asked for this? But why? It all became clear tomorrow. It will all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented, quite exceptional in fact. You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's great prosecutors, the pride of the empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution. The prosecution? Yonosuke. Let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Grixon's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Von Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right. It's Naruto. Be direct. It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes, which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim. No, Grixon had his gun on his person. What about Lord Von Zieks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. He's sus. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant is no proof that it's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Von Zieks. Justin also being sus, being like, oh, I know what's going on. Okay, what do I present with? Yeah, he's not here. Let's see if I can get these Shomes in. Sweet. Nope. So I have to do something in terms of the street or governor's office. Oh, wait, why? I already presented that. No, I'm just trying to figure out what to present. I'm kind of good to trial and error. That's what I figured, because I tried all the obvious ones on all the people. So, at least presenting wise. Let's go back and converse before we take on stuff. Yes, all the people. There's no one else important. I think I fast forward a lot of this dialogue. Ah, that's what I also needed. Oh, that's business is straight. That's sooner. I mean, Iris does respect you, so there's a high chance that she will. Especially if you solve a big case like this. You also miss blue-headed Sholmes, too. I get everything here. I can't do anything here. I literally... You won't even talk to me. Ah, can't look around. I'm sad. He's reading the same piece of paper over and over. That's like him being like, I only appreciate the finer of writings. Is Mary completely... Oh yeah, I forgot to examine him. I remember everything. I'm just gonna speed run this for a little bit. Sorry for what happened. Anyway. I'm ready to return. What do you mean? Ah. So we're gonna glean more over here. Yep. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. I guess it was just Kazuma. I resented everything, and it was... Yeah. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? Just wanted. Thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over to the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change your own justice system. You know, our justice? Yeah, our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naro didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I have another purpose for coming here.
Oh,
I actually have a favor to ask. Which is, this trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as a defense counsel. Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Von Zieks would never put his faith in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. That's Lord Von Zieks and Inspector Gregson. Oh, that was Susato, not Kazuma. In the photograph, that must have taken some time ago by the look of it. It was just taken yesterday. You remember clearly, Gregson was alive. This other person we have never met, so clearly they're alive. If we don't see a body, that means they're clearly alive. As many, like, anime, comics, cartoons have done. It's just like, if you don't see a body, it's not technically fully 100% confirmed that they're dead. Because that's what a lot of these games do. That's what a lot of these media types do. That's what, I mean, technically Kazuma was there, but it's like you don't see the full picture. They're dead. Oh, you're saying everyone in this picture is dead? Oh, okay, cool. Who's the third person? That is the Lord Von Zieks, clearly. Oh, you mean the other person? Oh, I'm sorry. It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Yes. What I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find some straight talking. Some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. Gregson's photograph. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours of the prison are almost over. Alright, Ryunosuke is his first name. What are you doing, Kazuma? I'm gonna kill you, Fly. One day. Aren't we all dead inside? I mean, we all died in murdering. Lord Von Zieks is still reading that letter. We've been gone quite some time, though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read up English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipodese. Oh, sorry. Didn't think you could hear that. You talk loud. Like I do. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, you heard? Your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times I must reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. You were just talking to Lord Stronghorn, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Asoji. Asoji? That made the color drain from his face. Huh. Very well then. Well then, it seems I'm going to have to engage in a conversation with you after all. Converse! Soji. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutors at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asoji. Genshin Asoji. I'm gonna keep calling Genshin or Genshin. As Kazuma-sama's father. Yeah, Genshin made an impact on his life. So that's why he doesn't get any waifus. Top tier comedy, amazing. Never heard that before. Yeah, I make all the original jokes, Justin. Any jokes that was made in existence, I made them. Even the very controversial ones. Nah, I figured you don't. So what cruel twist of fate is this now? 10 years later, the man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. This is not Australia. This is far from Australia, mate. They knew you. They were you. Yes. I made all the Genshin jokes. I invented it. I also invented Genshin. Dun dun dun. I still don't know why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it's only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asoji. That name is the very epitome of my bane. Epitome. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. All your crimes today, I see. Pretty much. I'd only just been appointed as prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of the prosecutions, was hunted down as a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. That was Genshin Asoji. Exactly. I developed a respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded, chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asoji's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he considered. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor's case inquiry, Lord Mayor Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the only person to whom I've felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal in the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, and then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loath of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical, but for so many years that hatred had festered inside me, I could no longer control it. I can understand why. Now I know the history. But in the same way that I long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asoji, I am the bane of his, the Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Especially with all those murders you did today. Dun dun dun. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month, but he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean? It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh? The Paris police welcoming English sector is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in first place. Sounds like the mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We heard that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspectors pushed a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsies was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. My brother was, of course, a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gretchen had dug up in his investigations made him determine it was necessary. His powerful convictions somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had a great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. I don't have confidence in anyone. Oh? And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I have no doubt he thought me only as an ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. What really went between Lord Von Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? They had a very on and off relationship, just like most relationships nowadays. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as it is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh? I was issued the revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Lord Von Zieks after all, Mr. Naruto. A talent for misplacing things. No. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating with me with this Nipponese. Dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. You know what? I'm just realized that a correlation to the first game is that they're having the prosecutor you fight with in the game as the as one of the last people you protect with. I'm burping. It's late. There's a lot of bubbles in my stomach. No, I didn't notice. I clearly just read it on Reddit post that just says like it's clearly a mirror to the first game's last case. It's right up in front of my screen. It's clearly you can see it right there. Just had a little bit of water left. Thank you. From Zeke's, we came about by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It was almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. This is the man. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. Clint Eastwood. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense! No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovial discussing the future of justice, and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past, I thank you. As though I got a nice glimpse of the past then too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle. An insight into the true nature of this man's known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. Oh, this relationship is getting on a last name basis. I've lost confidence in my country's judicial justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. And what's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Von Seeks. From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. Who was in Colonel Cobb again? I forgot. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother Clint and Genshin Asoji. The man he idolized, and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back when I was able to laugh, I was freed of the shackles of mistrust and that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself because betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. So sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, used it the second time. I want to believe that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? Of course I will. It would be an honor. I also want to say no. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruto. Then my life is in your hands. For Lord Von Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Is that her actual name, Colonel Cobb? Because I forgot. I thought that was actually. Oh, you know what? No, I remember now. That was just a long night. Those were long nights. Yeah, I thought that was her you were talking about, but I was for some reason thinking it was an actual soldier with a pun name. Ah, that's right. Again, that was a very long case and night. I blanked out on like a lot of the dialogue, to be honest. Just why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, the Old Bailey against my old friend Kazuma. And there we go. Yep, part 1 is done. I will see if I can get this case done by the end of this year. The best case scenario is a yes. Likely may have to be pushed to next year, but we will see. Heavily depends on how this is gonna go. Anyway, I am pushed past my normal, well, I wouldn't say normal, but past the sleep schedule I'm trying to go with. So in that regard, I will call it off here, head off to bed and all that. Made some progress. That's good. We got to try a new game, and that game, in a sense, I honestly say, first off, Great Ace Attorney, we'll try to get through it. I'm gonna try to see if I can finish it up by end of January of next year. We'll see. We're getting close to the end, I know it, and I want to get it off my list so that I can start clearing out the other games, because I've been trying to focus on these longer ones. I need to go back to BioShock at some point. I just need to blitz through that. That crash really just took a lot out of me. But yeah, no, today, Midnight Murder Club, I think that was, I legitimately had fun with that one. Probably will get it and then try more of it with people later. Edge, yep. I know it's gonna go out in like next year. I think it says February of next year in early access, and early access will have the cheaper price compared to when it gets later. So hopefully that game has a lot of opportunities to have some fun with that. But anyway, I'll end it off there. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I'll catch you guys in another stream, will be mine or someone else's. Sleep well. Thank you guys so much for lurking and playing. Thanks Luigi, Justin, Kyle, James, Will playing today on games. So catch you guys later. I'm gonna go start heading off to bed, and I'll raid Done. Don't worry, future Justin. You got a lot of content to go through. I'm waiting on the advertisement on my end for Done 2 content. Well, I yelled at future Justin. You also yelled at your future self too, Justin. I forget what was the clip you were trying to do. I forget what happened. There we go. All right, we're gonna raid M Done. He is currently wearing a Santa hat and streaming Dead by Daylight. Give him some love or whatnot. Otherwise, hope everyone takes care of themselves and rest well. I'll be back with some others. Oh yeah, that whole door thing. If you clip that, I would love to see it because that was actually some of the funniest things we had in that game. Oh no, Toast. You literally came in while I'm raiding. I am sorry, Toast. I'm raiding another streamer friend. It is getting late. I'm trying to maintain a sleep schedule. So, thank you, Toast, for joining in. But unfortunately, I have to get going. I just woke. Yeah, time zones are a pain in the butt, man. Maybe next time. Either tomorrow if I do D&D or... Whoopsie. No, I don't want to... I actually pinned. How to unpin? Hold on. Sorry. Anyway, I'm just gonna cancel raid really quickly. Just say like, yeah, Toast, I am Paimon. No. My first was ordered, yeah. No, we had some fun today, Toast. Just to let you know, I played like a beta with some friends called Midnight Murder Club. Legitimately fun game. It is beta, so there was very limited things we could do. Some things we already wish that the game had, but again, it's beta and it's going to be early access of next year. I had fun with it. All of us had fun with it. I think it's one of those games that I might just push for a group plays here and there, like Project Winter. So if you ever wanted to take a look at it, look online. I did stream it, so you can look back on my stream if you're interested in it. But yeah, no, Toast, I hope you have a great weekend. You take care and you rest well for sure, dude. I'm glad you joined in, at least to say hi. I hope the rest of your day goes really, really well. I might be streaming D&D tomorrow, but not 100% certain. And also, I will be streaming next week. And you know, all that. So, yeah, take it easy, my dude. And I'll catch you later for sure. Let me rate Amden again so that, get that all ready. I'm going to be going to bed right after this. Thanks, my dude. Mdun is a fellow Australian streamer. He is currently playing Dead by Daylight, so if you guys want to chill with him, go for it. He's wearing a Santa hat. Yeah, the title and the viewer count and all that stuff is just all up there. Is messing me up too. That is such a weird decision making. But anyway, yeah, everyone take care. Have a good night. I'll catch you guys in another stream. But reminder someone else's. Sleep well, everyone. Have a good day if it's just your day. And enjoy the rest of the weekend if you guys have more. So I'll catch you guys later and see you later. Thanks for everyone who dropped by, said hi, lurked, and also played. So yeah, take it easy, everyone. Good night. I'll hydrate after the stream. So, but thank you for the hydrations, Toast. All right. Bye-bye.